I was able to observe a fifth grade classroom and was able to see a brief observation of how a teacher would go about assessments. Although it was right after conferences and spring break, that made it hard to observe assessments just because that wasn't what the class was focused on. She was focused on creating a new project and assignments and curriculum for the last bit of school until summer. So I kind of just went back and asked her what she would be doing if it was almost conferences or she was doing assessments, just because that wasn't what her focus was that day when I was observing. But what I did notice, and what is so great about the classrooms now versus when I was in school for both the students and teachers, is the access and use of technology. This allows for year-round accountability and assessments. And Obie and Sapp in the textbook stated growing emphasis on accountability has become a hallmark of the 21st century, meaning the need for accountability is at the basis of standardized testing. So that is really why standardized testing is so important to the state and the education board, because they want to know, they want to see accountability and they want to see progress, so they want to see where the students are. But the standardized testing is not how we teach or learn in everyday life in the classroom or even out of the classroom. Based on standardized testing, this is not how the classroom works, nor even the real world work environments. For example, Kathy Hall in chapter 15 states, "Why are students tested as individuals when the world of work requires people who can work well in a team? Why do we test memory when in real life, world engineers and scientists never rely on memory? If they're stuck, they look it up." This statement makes so much sense to me, and after observing the classroom, it is what classrooms and assessments should be like. This should be the normal, not the abnormal. Ms. Janhunen showed me that ability to see how kids are learning and at different rates through the Chromebooks, which are amazing resources that the schools, especially in my school district that I live in, Central Valley School District, is using. They are given each classroom for each student, so there's enough for each student, which is awesome. There's an activity center on the Chromebooks that are based on learning, and they can take tests and even do most of their assignments on them. These tests and assignments go straight to Miss Janhunen's computer and her gradebook, which breaks it down for her in percentages of achievement, meaning that the computer will tell her what areas the students are excelling at and what areas they are not and need to work on. For example, she was showing me the gradebook on a math test that the kids were taking, and it showed just what each kid got on the math test, how many questions they answered, how long it took them, and which questions were more difficult and easier. Most of the students were at the same level as each of the students, so she knew that one section of math she needed to work on with the whole class, which was really awesome to see. These assessments will not be there to see an end result, but to help develop curriculum. Like I was saying earlier, it will help her develop her next week curriculum for math to help them with what they're struggling on. And it will access a deeper insight on what students need. And because they are all different, such assessment is called diagnostic assessment. Obie and Sapp describe the diagnostic assessment as a focus on the identification of effective instructional strategies for children differing on any number of variables related to academic learning. This way of assessing can help create curriculum for the students, but also tailor instruction based on the students' needs. Even though this was a great resource to observe, I still feel that there could be great assessments that could be used in addition to the Chromebooks, such as use short group discussion assignments right after I've given a lesson to see who is able to use certain skills like comparing and contrasting or creating discussion questions. I believe there are so many options when it comes to diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment should happen in every classroom at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year, and anywhere in between. I believe in students unknowingly or subconsciously creating their own assessments to become self-aware. This will help a lot in understanding how they learn and what they need to work on when they are learning. This is why group discussions or their own observation of their learning abilities can be beneficial. If we as future teachers can learn anything, it is that each student is unique and different in learning and behavior. And if we are able to create just a little bit of an individualized plan for each student, I think it can do wonders, and it can start with diagnostic assessments. Even with these great resources, I still feel educators are not tuning into emotional or behavioral aspects of assignments or of learning in general. Each student has their favorite subjects or assignments, and they all differ from student to student, but a child is based more than just their ability to like a certain subject and learn different areas of curriculum. It's complicated. Learning abilities are all different, meaning as educators we need to assess each student on a different basis, and in turn creating assignments or tweaking the curriculum for each student, which I know is easier said than done. But as educators, if we are aware and able to take the resources we are giving, such as Chromebooks, and to see each child's progress or lack of progress, it will help tremendously in the overall achievement of each student and not just the classroom as a whole.